What's up, guys? I just finished watching Weapons and it is totally worth the hype. Now, the first 90 minutes of it is a slow burn, but after you start getting into the action of it, it totally makes sense. And I'm going to go into the full movie chat as soon as I get back to my car. See ya! Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Malika and I love to talk about movies. And today I am literally sitting right outside a movie theater to go see Weapons right now. I am so excited to see this movie. It has gotten tons of 5-star reviews and people are even talking Academy Awards, which is wild for a horror movie. I don't think there's ever been a horror movie that has won an Academy Award, which is a travesty, let's be real. So come along with me as I go see this brand new movie, Weapons. Ooh, so excited. Where should we sit, you guys? I was so excited to see that I had the entire theater to myself. How exciting. Where should we sit, you guys? I have the whole theater to choose from. I got to choose any seat that I wanted to sit in, and I had to find the perfect one so that I could see the movie exactly how I wanted to. And I also love to put my feet up when I'm watching a movie. What about you guys? And I found it, the perfect spot where I can put my feet up, and there's only one row in front of me, so I'm definitely not going to bother anybody with it. Okay, I'm in my car. I just left the theater, and I wanted to do this movie chat right here, fresh from watching the movie. So, here are my thoughts. Is it a great movie? Yes, it is. It is a very good movie. Now, here's for the news you need to know, and trust me, if you do not want any spoilers, do not watch any more of this because I am going to spoil the movie. Obviously, if I'm talking about movies, I have to give spoilers. So here we go. The first, like I said, maybe 90 minutes of the movie, it might not be that bad. Maybe the first 45 minutes of the movie, there's not a lot going on. Like, for real. There's hardly anything going on at all. It was on the verge of boring. Now, with that being said, I think it was only because I was expecting an intense horror movie like you kept hearing, and it wasn't. But after seeing the entire thing and the ending and what happens and why these kids are acting this way, it all makes sense why they set the movie up this way. So they did different people's perspective of what was happening. It starts with the teacher of that classroom. An entire classroom full of kids disappears except for one of those kids from the classroom. And it starts from her point of view. Now, all the parents of these missing kids are pissed at her. They think that she had something to do with it. They write witch on her car. Like, why would only one student be left? And of course, this student gets scrutinized as well. And her story, it was long, it was drawn out, but it's really setting up the characters and how things are connected in a way. So I see why they did it now. They also did a storyline with a police officer who was having an affair with the teacher, and then this druggie who had a run-in with that police officer. And those scenes between the police officer and the druggie guy were kind of funny. The way they were set up, it wasn't like, here's a joke, but just the things that happened between them, it was funny, and I know that was intentional, so that was a fun little element there. And I do have to say, the movie was beautifully shot. It's a good movie. I think I was so hyped up about it that I was like, what is going on? It is kind of boring for a while. And then they had the storyline of one of the dads that had lost his kid. What all the parents have in common, pretty much, is that they all had Ring cameras. And all the kids left the house running in this funny way at 2:17 in the morning. And then we finally get to the little kid that was left in the classroom and his storyline. Now, before that happens, we're getting just little tiny hints about what's going on and about what happened. Little tiny hints. Trust me, teeny tiny hints. And this is what kind of keeps you interested in the movie throughout the whole thing, because you're getting these little hints and you're like, oh, huh, that's weird. For instance, on the teacher storyline, she is peeking in the window of the one kid who was left in her classroom, and she sees the two parents just sitting on the couch, not moving. Not moving at all. They didn't answer the door, they didn't say anything, and all the windows are kind of taped up, but she was able to peek in and see that these parents are just sitting there. So that was the first one. And then with each storyline, we're kind of getting little bits more that are just a tiny bit creepy that make you go, And it's not really until you get into the cop storyline and a little bit further into his storyline that you're really seeing something crazy. By the way, I just glanced at myself and this lighting coming through my face is not cute. But oh well, here we are doing a movie chat in the back of my car. So if you don't want to know exactly what is happening, definitely don't listen to the rest of this. But the one kid that was left had an aunt come visit, and this woman, Gladys, she is a trip. If anybody is going to get the Academy Award, it is going to be her. She did so well being this incredibly creepy woman. Of course, the makeup department did well because she had this red lipstick just kind of smeared all over, crazy blue eyeshadow, and this wig where it was cut straight across right here. So she had these really sharp bangs. Oh my gosh. Her character was incredible. Of course, she's a witch. And it doesn't say it in the movie, but she's definitely feeding off of people. She controls them, and she can make these people do her bidding. She cracks a stick with their hair wrapped around it and her blood on the stick, and she can make them do whatever she wants. She can use them as her weapons. Now, with that being said, I did hear rumors that this movie was about school violence and a school shooting, and it's about guns in school. No, it's not. It's not about that at all. So I was concerned watching this movie because I thought that's what it was about, and it's not that at all. It's not even close. But they did have a very weird scene in the movie where above the house, there was a big weapon above the house. Now, it's one of those guns that looks like it's an automatic or a semi-automatic. It's a big weapon. So I don't know why they chose that one. Maybe that's why people thought that it was about school things, but none of the kids died. None of them died. They were all fine. So I don't think that that's what that was about. Maybe I'm not that great at picking up little nuances, but I think I'm good enough to know that if none of the kids in the classroom died, that it wasn't about school shootings. This movie literally was just about witchcraft and a woman who was trying to control kids because she wanted to get herself better. She first just wanted to try her nephew's parents, but those parents who she was controlling weren't helping her get better. I don't know how she sucks the energy out of them in any way, but that's what she's doing, obviously, and it just wasn't working. So she got her nephew to get the entire classroom, and all these kids were just in the basement. They weren't being harmed. The little boy was feeding them. So the reports that I was hearing about what type of movie this was just weren't true. And now I've given away the entire movie. And trust me, it is worth a watch. The stuff that was happening when it started happening was crazy. It was so cool to see. There was gore, but exactly how I like the gore to be, which is not too much, not unnecessary. It was just perfect. Like somebody got hit by a car and their brains were all over the ground. And it looked crazy. There's literally somebody walking by my car. They're gonna think I'm nuts, sitting in my back seat talking to my freaking self. Anyways, I better get out of here before somebody calls the cops on me or something. This movie was great. Don't think there's going to be a lot of action and excitement in the first half of the movie, but it's worth it in the end, and you see why they were leading up to it slowly near the end. Now, you may like this movie, you may not like this movie, but I do hope you enjoy these Movie Chat Mondays with me, Malika. Bye!